in going to the convention, international convention in Nice, France, there were only 3 of us that went. Myself, John Harmon, and Charlie Daniels. John Harmon was a local electrical contractor. And it had always been a small town. Everybody pretty well knew each other and friends. But anyhow, on our way to, I had made a joke box called a Mongoose box. It's about 30 inches long and about 10 by 10, with a partition in the center, with like a rat hole in between the partition, with a little wire connected to a little tail that's sticking through the partition that you can make wiggle, make look like something alive was in it. Across the back part of it, we had chicken wire, so you could see down in there. Then the lid was fastened with a spring-loaded hinges, and it could be very easily tripped. Attached to the lid was a foxtail, pretty long. So anyhow, we had landed in Oreo Airport, and I was walking and had that Mongoose box carrying it. And this our airline official of some sort came out and said, "No Mongoose, no Mongoose." I kept trying to explain to him that it was just a joke. But anyhow, finally Charlie said, "Show him the Mongoose." So I set it down on the floor of the middle of the airport. Several hundred people standing around looking. I got him interested in it and got him awful close, and I told him you have to watch close because this Mongoose is fast. I got him down real close, and I sprung that lid open, and out jumped the foxtail. Scared him so bad he did a backward somersault. Everybody laughed so bad that he never checked anything else or luggage or nothing else when we went through customs. So I showed the Mongoose box on several occasions. We always took a Mongoose box. Had a lot of fun showing people it, and they got scared. In France, one place I was in Italy, and I showed the man the Mongoose. And so he'd run down the straightaways and get somebody and bring him back up to show him the Mongoose. So he was getting people, gathering people up for me to show the Mongoose too. So we'd gone, well, we were staying in Monaco, although we had to go travel to Nice every day. And so we went into Monaco, gambling casino there. Charlie had this live crow sitting on his head, and he wouldn't let him go in with it, and so Charlie said, "Well, can I check my hat?" He said, "Yeah." So we gave him his hat, and she put it up on a shelf and checked his hat with the crow on it. Well, the crow sat there until we got ready to leave, and Charlie got to come out and got his hat on, and the crow's still on there. So we had a lot of different things we had done in line with the Bearded Beauties. Anyhow, we were staying with right in, not only about a block and a half from the Follies Bijou. And Charlie, we had gone up to a doctor friend's room with his, and he asked us if we were going to go to the Follies street show. And I said, "Well, I doubt if they'd let us in the way we were dressed." He said, "Well, they wouldn't, anyway, we always had a full growth of beard that we let grow for 3 months, and our hair was grown for 3 months without being trimmed, so you imagine we looked pretty rough." But the man said, "Well," I said, you ought to go see it since you're here. So they won't care nothing about your beard or your hair." I said, "Oh, you're about my size." I said, "I'll lend you a suit." So we decided, John Harmon and I decided to go. So we got down, the car charge, and John went up and asked how much a ticket was. He come back and he asked me, "So what kind of ticket you want?" I said, "I want the best seat in the house." I said, "I don't figure I'll ever see this again." I want the best seat in the house. He said, well, it's the best seat in the house, $8 a half. But you can imagine how long ago that's been. So anyhow, we didn't have a theater seat. We had a big Chippendale chair on the front row. And they put on one terrific show. And nothing vulgar, but some of it revealing, I guess you might say, but it was a terrific show. But after we left Paris, while we were in Paris, we decided to go to the Louvre. Charlie Daniels had been there before, and he had been to the Louvre, so he didn't go inside. But John Harmon and I went in and looked at some of the stuff in the museum. And when we came out, Charlie was saying he had him a gourd. People used to have to cut out to make a drink out of. And he was standing out in front there with that gourd. People would come by and start dropping money in it. So anyhow, this couple came up. One of them spoke a little bit of French, tried to talk, but Charlie just like he didn't understand him. Well, the woman went up, stood beside Charlie, and the man took her picture, and then he went up and stood beside Charlie, and she took his picture. So this guy said, I don't know where this man's from. And finally Charlie said, well, I said, where are you from, buddy? And I knew he had to be an American. I said, I'm from a little town in Virginia. He said, you wouldn't know where it was. He said, I might. Where are you from? He said, Coburn, Virginia, which is 11 miles from where we live. And ran into a man right in Paris, you know, that was from town that just 11 miles away from where we were. In fact, I was instrumental in organizing the Lions Club in Coburn, and I got an award for that. So there were a lot of different places we went when different things happened. I know in San Francisco, there was a bar there that mostly was all male bar. I don't think I ever saw a woman in there. And when we were close, the hotel we were staying in was close to the bar. So we'd go into the bar, and we'd been there for 5 minutes, everybody be setting drinks up in front of us. And we never bought a drink while we was in San Francisco. But then I ran into this man who was originally from Jenkins, Kentucky, which was about 20 miles from where we live. And my grandfather had a farm in a place called Pound, which was about 16 miles from where we lived. But this man described my grandfather's place to a T. He had gone there when he was about living back in Kentucky, and go there and buy moonshine whiskey. And so he had a construction company in San Francisco, and he had sold it, and he and his brother were starting another company. Anyhow, he had told us he wanted to take us to dinner at night, and he said, I'm going to tell my secretary that you're a Virginia gentleman, and she'll be formal. So he brought her. Of course, he had a tux on, and she was in a beautiful white gown, and we were in bib overalls. So anyhow, he had told us, we put a pretty good joke on her, but he had told me if at any time I ever wanted to go trout fishing, he had the best trout fishing in the United States. He called his secretary, and she would set it up, which of course I never did.